When we spoke in the UN as a company a little while ago, the ambassador, Dani Danon, made a comment that when we read in the Bible that Moses hit a stone to get water, we've now taken it to a new level. We don't have to hit the stone. We're getting water from air. And yes, you heard me correct. We make drinking water, clean drinking water from the air. The company based in Israel many years ago started about 8 years ago with some army commanders who decided that when they were being shot at in tanks, it was probably a better solution to get drinking water and try and be creative. For many years, they did business only with the Israeli government. A few years ago, a group of individuals acquired them with a global vision of really changing the world and providing drinking water to all those that need. As a company, we have been able to work in Houston, in Miami after the hurricanes, after the floods, and provide drinking water for communities. In addition to which, we currently are finishing our final round of testing with the EPA, and our units will be made available in the United States very shortly. Believe it or not, and you're going to hear from my colleague, that the water in America, in many areas, is not so good for drinking, and indeed throughout the globe. Our goal as a company, as a mission, is to take and provide clean drinking water for everybody. A shocking statistic is that 1.7 million children die a year from diseases that are associated with unclean water. So every day that goes by, we view it as a sacred mission as a company to make a difference and change the lives of many. For those of you who asked before where we are located, we currently are doing business in Russia, in India, Brazil, Vietnam, Israel, United States, and several other countries. I'd like to ask my colleague to talk about the environment.
Thank you. Thank you. Again, my name is Ed Russo, and I have been involved in the environmental business for a long time. I've designed, produced, maintained, and inspected water quality recycling reclamation machines for over 40 years. I currently serve in several environmental positions, especially in and around the Florida Keys where I live. I live in Key West, and certainly I was impacted by Irma. But as president of Florida Keys Environmental Coalition, and I'm on the county's Climate Change Advisory Commission, that's a dubious achievement since I've been Donald Trump's environmental expert for the last 17 years. It's confusing sometimes, I admit. But when you're looking at the water quality in the United States and around the world, what you don't know is that the water quality is in crisis. It's one of the worst events in the United States. It's a very shameful experience, and it's not being covered very, very well. What happened in Flint, Michigan, as most of you know, the kids in Flint, Michigan were getting very sick, drinking the lead in the water. That was a self-inflicted condition when they changed the water sources. They knew this occurred, but they didn't make it public because they took water quality samples. They knew the lead was in the water. They found out that the lead was in the water by looking at the test results of the kids in the Flint, Michigan school system. And their grades were going down significantly. And what they did, they tried to figure out what was going on. They took tissue samples from the kids, and they found out that there was a high level of lead in their system. That's how they made it public. And that's not only the location that this is happening. So what we have to do is get this to be public. We have more initiatives. And when I learned about the ability of atmospheric water generation, it was a quantum leap forward. My business, most of the environmental people, the experts and members of the worldwide environmental collegium knows how to filter water. We know how to do that, and that's becoming more and more difficult as compounds and chemicals get invented and put into our system. Watergen and the atmospheric water generation concept jumps ahead of all of that. And so we have an opportunity of not only providing safe drinking water, but making healthier water and safer water throughout the world. And we'll discuss that in more detail in a moment. Thank you.